Hello everybody, this is Commissar here, and today I'm bringing you the final match in the best of 3 series. Where's my hotkey gone? Oh, sorry, wrong hotkey. Between Mouse ThorZaIN. He is our red Terran this time, in the bottom side of the screen, and in the top side of the map, we happen to have FXOQXE. Okay, so it's Mouse versus FXO. I didn't mention the clans match and the other two games, which by the way, this is the third match, so go back and watch the other two. Decent matches, not brilliant, but not too boring either, in both of those matches, so I recommend you go back and watch those two matches before you watch this match, although this match should be better than those two matches. I can almost guarantee it's better. I haven't watched it before, but I think it's supposed to be better, that's just what I've been told. So anyway, going into what's happening right now, I'm going to talk about the other games just now, so go back and watch them if you haven't watched them already, because I'm about to spoil those results. So, going into this game so far, into this series so far, FXOQXE taking out the second game very, very significantly. Both players were mirroring each other, mirroring each other very closely. Other than that, it was very, very close. QXE just using his very aggressive style, lots of drops, getting in the edge in the early game, just kept rallying units, never took the pressure off ThorZaIN, and ThorZaIN, he didn't really, he wasn't overwhelmed really, despite the pressure, but it did put him behind, and it did mean that in the big battle at the end, ThorZaIN was just massacred because his tanks are out of position, and yeah, it just didn't really work out very nicely at all for him. Probably could have repaired a couple of the siege tanks a bit better before the engagement too, and made them a bit less squishy. Other than that, the pretty even game, a slight upgrade advantage was for QXE as well. So anyway, that was that game. Game 1 was a lot shorter. QXE failed to do a bit of a proxy factory sort of play. It didn't work out well, and he ended up losing the game, out macroed and failing to spot a Banshee that killed every single one of his workers. So that was the series so far. Again, FXO versus Mouse, two very top European clans. Interestingly enough, I don't think I mentioned it before, but yeah, I did mention that both of these players were European. Spanish versus ThorZaIN, who I believe is Swedish, is he? I'm not actually quite sure where he's from, but he did win TSL 3 nonetheless, so he is European. He does play in the European server, and he has a 93% win rate on the European server. That's after 60 games played. 56-4, I believe, is the correct stat, and that is incredible. I've never seen a player have such a high win rate as our red Terran, which is ThorZaIN. QXE obviously having a very high win rate as well. He's not in Grandmaster either, but he is certainly very high ranked. So, both players, top players, focus more on tournaments than the latter, obviously, and also obviously going to do a lot of practice matches because they're both from pretty big teams. Other than that, yeah, it's going to be pretty fun to watch this game. So, what are these two players doing at the start of this match? Obviously, the opening few minutes aren't very interesting, which is why I sort of skip over them a little bit. We do happen to have a factory going down by ThorZaIN. Again, both players getting their actor, both players getting the factories, both players always doing this standard opening, it appears, in the Terran versus Terran matchup. So, if you're a Terran player, just take note of what they're doing, because really, it's the same builds. And, oh, hang on, ThorZaIN going, oh sorry, it's ThorZaIN, I thought it was QXE for a minute, but ThorZaIN doing what he does best, and that is getting a very fast expansion in the same placement too. The building placement's also been the same for him every game. The only difference is his wall is slightly different in terms of it's just a supply depot wall. Okay, so we do have this early expansion for ThorZaIN, going to give him a bit of a macro edge, I assume, unless of course the early starport and earlier cloaked banshees from QXE could potentially do some damage. So we do have these starports being placed in the back of this, in the back of the base. Supply depot has been spread out. You might be wondering why did he spread out his buildings like this? It's so he can spot any sort of drop plate before it happens. You can see ThorZaIN not actually placing his buildings so well, getting that supply depot wall in. I don't think it's necessary. Gonna wall out this Hellion and actually delay this building by killing that SCB. Yes, it will kill that SCB. That's kind of good for QXE, gonna scoot it out of there before any damage dealt. Also gonna spot that expansion. So QXE knows exactly what ThorZaIN is doing, and he can react accordingly, and he's going to move out with his Hellions and his Marines. It looks like such an aggressive player, so good to see, and he is going to try and make ThorZaIN hurt by going for this early expansion. We do also have a Banshee on the way for ThorZaIN, so that'll be a good defense actually. The defensive Banshee going to be pulled out, might be easily counter-attacking, I don't know. It is actually rallied off somewhere over here, off to this base, so I assume that means it's going to be used to attack. Other than that, he might actually need to pull it back for defense. So, we'll have to see how as that goes down. We do have a few Marines in terms of the unit counts. We do have a slight advantage for QXE, although some of those Marines are rallying, so what's actually at the battle. more Marines for ThorZaIN, but Hellions do destroy Marines very, very easily, and that should be able to win QXC the battle. So we'll have to see about that, although the wall and the Banshee should mean that you won't be able to win the game at all. And ThorZaIN is going to snipe a Marine there. Free Marine, always good before a battle. So no stim for QXC. Oh, doing a lot of damage to that Banshee. I think ThorZaIN should be a bit more careful than that. Down to 20 health, that was a close one. And suddenly the medevac is here for QXC, going to put on a lot of pressure, going to spot the high ground too, so significantly, and the repair is being used on this Banshee, mass repair Banshee, and going to make it so good against those Marines that it looks like QXC doing some nice damage. He's in a nice position here, has a Marine advantage, and look at all these workers that are offline, going to give QXC a slight macro advantage at this time. And is he going to be expanding? Yes, he is throwing... No? Who's command center? Yeah, he is expanding at the moment, yes. So, oh, a Hellion going down, that's a big blow. Banshee paying for itself certainly, although being repaired quite a lot, so maybe not paying for itself because it's requiring so many SCVs to repair it. So, it looks like QXC still going to put on the pressure. Still not enough from ThorZaIN to take on these Hellions. He doesn't have to take out the Marines, but certainly not the Hellions and the Marines. It looks like a few units being rallied over here. They should probably join the big ball of QXC's army. And he is trying to attack out the supply depots. That will supply block ThorZaIN, I believe, if it goes down. And it looks like on fire going to have to be repaired there. And whoa! Now, Viking in here, will it kill that Banshee? That'd be a huge blow if at start of battle if this Viking goes down. Looks like it's focusing on the Raven otherwise. Oh, it looks like the Vikings will go down. I'm not sure about the focus firing from QXC. He did actually kill both the Raven and the Banshee, so good by QXC. At the same time, it is allowing ThorZaIN to push out. He is going to be able to choose expansion now, I assume. Yeah, probably want to bunker up after that. And if I look at the workers killed, we did see a couple of workers being pulled offline by QXC. Sorry, by ThorZaIN, none of them did die. So in terms of economy, now that the economy has stabilized for ThorZaIN, now that he has put his workers back on minerals, it is even, dead even. The base timings, QXC going to be slightly behind, but in terms of the army, it's even. So I'd say it's dead even at this stage of the match. The main aggressor has been QXC. His Vikings unit composition, is it better? We do happen to have both players getting one siege tank at the moment. Do they have siege mode? No, and no is the answer. So neither player has siege mode, both players have a siege tank. Stim is on the way for ThorZaIN, so that's pretty significant to note. And yeah, siege mode is actually on the way for ThorZaIN too. So it looks like both players actually getting Stim. So both players know their timings, getting things at about the same time. And yeah, unit compositions, we do now happen to have compositions. We do have the medevac for ThorZaIN. The medevac did die of QXC, so that's going to give ThorZaIN's units a bit more free stimming in terms of if they stim, they'll be able to be healed up. I think we should see at least one medevac coming out for QXC at any time now. And other than that, he's going pretty Viking heavy, expecting his opponent to do a bit of starport play. And it looks like two Marines are going to kill each other right here. Going to give the ThorZaIN the center watchtower control. It looks like ThorZaIN is going to move out again. I'm not sure if he's going to attack the base of his opponent, maybe just going to secure the watchtower, but either way, QXC has spotted everything in this army with this Marine, even going to escape there. So if QXC was paying attention, he's exactly what's coming towards him. And yeah, it's pretty good. I don't see ThorZaIN being able to move out and be able to crush QXC whatsoever at any time soon. Both players will have siege mode before any major battle occurs, I assume. QXC probably will, unless ThorZaIN moves out right now. And again, I'm not convinced he's in a position to do so. Excuse me, and quite right, he is going off to secure a third base, which is going to be the high yield. So, pretty big move by ThorZaIN. Once it becomes a planetary fortress, we'll be safe from anything except siege tanks. That's pretty good. Other than that, we do have a scouting Marine being sent up to scout for any third bases that would be hidden by QXC. Nothing of that sort going to be on the way though, and other than that we just have a couple of barracks and a command center being added on for QXC. So QXC going for a heavy bio player with a couple of siege tanks, heavy bio with some siege tanks and a little bit of esport, compared to, oh, a dropper actually coming over here, and will getting into the base, dropping the Marines quite nicely. Nice little spread there. Will get some SCVs, so will kill some SCVs. There isn't anything inside the base of ThorZaIN to defend against this, interestingly enough, because everything's out in the center. Does have a load of Marines coming back. Will actually be able to clean this up, although how much damage we've done. Look at that micro, brilliant starter sent micro by QXC. Going to even move on to the natural, going to kill a few more workers, so that's going to give QXC a bit of a worker advantage, even spotting the third base. So QXC, brilliant job there, getting a complete scout of the base with a whole ton of worker kills. How many worker kills? 14. 14 workers have been killed, and it looks like the income tab is now going to show a slight advantage for QXC. So, Great drop by QXC, completely evening out the harvest tab, actually putting him a little bit ahead. There you can see Vikings of ThorZaIN are scouting around. So Vikings of QXC is scouting around looking at ThorZaIN's army. He knows he doesn't have too much, and he is going to be bringing out his siege tanks, going to secure a third of his own, it looks like, to respond to the third of ThorZaIN's. So ThorZaIN's planetary fortress will be completed before any attacks go down. That'll be a secure base. Other than that, we do happen to have... Ooh! That could go down. A Viking actually being lost cheaply from QXC, not too good play. But, again, scouting around, getting a bit of map control, not really having map control. You'll notice that there are Marines all over the map for ThorZaIN, giving him good map control. But he is getting good scouting information nonetheless. And it looks like a Marine going to die here cheaply. Don't throw away units when it's so close. Look at the supply counts. Both players doing a similar build, so similar on food. Scrambling to get the siege tank position. Who will siege up first? Looks like they're going to siege up, but out of range of each other's siege tanks. So, going to be an even engagement. We'll just have to see what happens here. And it looks like a medevac could be sniped. Yes, a medevac is being sniped. Will the Vikings go down? No, they'll get out of there quite nicely. So, QXC, good micro, although no medevacs for him. A medevac is on the way, though. We'll heal up those Marines to sort of make them recover from that sim. Once they heal up, I would say it's a pretty even battle here. We do have a couple of more siege tanks for ThorZaIN. So ThorZaIN actually has a better army in terms of his siege tanks, which are the main discrepancy, the main decider. A couple more Marines also for QXC though. So, like I said, a bit more bio heavy for QXC, a bit more mech heavy for ThorZaIN. Just the 1 to 2 factory difference. That's going to be significant. It's not necessarily one build set than the other. Some players do each, so we'll just have to see how that goes. So, I want to see some Banshees for QXC. He doesn't really fit into his build that conveniently, but again, Banshees could be great against these higher siege tank numbers if they're spread out. Oh, losing 2 Vikings there. I think 2, no, only 1. 1 down to 3 health. So that wasn't very good by QXC. He needs to be more careful with his Vikings, I think. He's been a little bit careless. Actually, a drop down here by ThorZaIN. What's he going to do? Not too much. SCVs are going to clean it up. Going to get all of the 0 worker kills. So some Marines were in position, and that fought it off, with 1 Marine getting off with only 3 health left. Okay, so in terms of upgrades, you do happen to have both players at 1 attack, I think, and both players getting their 1 armor. QXC's will be slightly earlier, but about the same timing. And other than that, the vehicles are at 0-0, compared to 0-0, with attack for the... With QXC actually going to pull ahead soon, because he is getting a +2 attack for his Marines. Those are the +1 armor completed, so both players at 1-1 Marines. Soon to be 2-1 for QXC, soon to be 0-1 siege tanks for QXC as well. So, QXC certainly having a bit of an upgrade advantage. Other than that, pretty even game. Both players are taking their 4th bases, it looks like, at the moment, building their command centers to take their 4ths at least. And yeah, again, the difference in the playstyles continues. QXC throwing down more barracks to get even more buy units. And look at this, he's going to move in. Planetary Fortress can't actually kill that. Meanwhile, we do happen to have ThorZaIN doing the opposite, moving down over here. It looks like ThorZaIN spotted this, but QXC has not. So ThorZaIN is going to pull up and clean out this. Getting a siege tank kill, that's pretty significant. Going to get some Marines, just going to scout really. Going to sweat that 4th timing. Not going to do any sort of economic damage really whatsoever. Meanwhile, ThorZaIN moving out with so many Marines here. Could he do some damage? There's nothing in position to defend this. And how close is the army? It looks like QXC is a bit out of position to defend this. And he does have some units in a medevac. Not enough though to clean out this attack. So, QXC could be in a bit of trouble here. I don't know what's going to happen here. And it looks like a big drop actually coming down for QXC at the same time. So both players mirroring each other so closely. And it looks like his base could go down. Oh, will it get out of there in time? I think it will. The SCVs will also escape. So... Oh, it looks like it actually might go down. I don't know if this will survive or not. It will go down, it looks like. So huge damage being dealt by ThorZaIN. Meanwhile, what's happening over here? Not too much. Good reaction times at ThorZaIN. So ThorZaIN actually holding on okay. Also taking out a base. So certainly ahead now. ThorZaIN taking a big lead here. Look at the food. 166 at 187. So 20 supply ahead for ThorZaIN. A few harvesters ahead for QXC though, but with a base ahead for ThorZaIN, I think ThorZaIN will actually probably have higher income regardless. So ThorZaIN ahead in almost every regard at this point, except his Marine count and siege counts are higher. So is his medevac count. The only thing that he's behind in his SCVs. Other than that, he's looking very, very comfortable. Also behind in upgrades, I think too. Yeah, behind in upgrades too. So, with the upgrade advantage, QXC's units could pay for himself a bit better. Other than that, 2 Vikings, 1 Viking going down for ThorZaIN. Again, not brilliant, but it's okay. Yeah, so anyway, going into what's actually happening now, I'm just gonna actually reply to this guy, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, other than that, we do happen to just have QXC continuing to resecure his base here. I think, did he fly over his main? No. So it's being set up, nothing too interesting happening at the moment. We do happen to have a drop, it looks like, from QXC, a bat to occur. Where will it drop down? Oh, similarly, a drop from ThorZaIN. Who will get the better drop? Looks like a Missile Turret might actually clean this up before it drops. Yes, it will clean up half of that. Only 2 Marines are going to come down. You won't be able to do anything, I assume. Okay, so yep. 5 Marines, 6 Marines being sent up there to clean up that, so not going to do too much damage. Meanwhile, QXC's drop, it's actually avoiding this tower. Oh, it's going to shuffle this tower at the last moment. Okay, so QXC doing his best to avoid being spotted before he drops. And what will he be able to do? It looks like Missile Turret is going to do some similar damage, although not going to kill that medevac. And, excuse me, looks like he might... Oh, a siege tank actually going to kill half of those Marines before they do anything. Looks like QXC doesn't even realize that he lost half his Marines to a siege tank. Actually going to heal up before he moves in. Meanwhile, we did have a little bit of a drop from QXC moving in to clear out this area. And whoa, ThorZaIN's being caught a little bit out of position over here. So so many things happening at once. Suddenly all these siege tanks for QXC are in position, but no protection there. Are a bit vulnerable. They need some Marines to protect them. QXC nicely sieged up. If anything runs in here, it will die. But if too many Marines drop in or some Vikings drop in, could do so much damage to this siege tank line. Okay, so what's happening now? We do happen to have the drop over here being relatively successful for QXC. The drop over here didn't really do very much at all. So, ThorZaIN now moving out with some Marines. He knows that these siege tanks are unprotected, although no, a few more Marines have showed up. So, it looks like ThorZaIN not able to do much, wasting a sim here. Gonna take out a supply depot. It looks like no, gonna elevate it into the base of his opponent. Whoa. And it looks like 2 siege tanks will be to deal with this, although I don't think they'll be able to get all those Marines unless sieged up. Though no, more Marines. So, it looks like QXC holding on just in this attack. Oh, it looks like he's actually luring the Marines into the siege tank fire. So that's good play by QXC, gonna clean out that very efficiently. Again, Mass ThorZaIN's still a little bit ahead in terms of upgrades. Do we still have the upgrade? Yep, still an upgrade advantage for QXC. 1 upgrade ahead in both his tanks and his Marines. So QXC on top of his upgrades, both players are about maxed out, and it's a pretty even game. So we did have a drop over here. It did kill a few workers, so what? At this stage of the game, it's Planet Forge especially, when you're so close to maxed out, you almost want to kill off some workers just to get a few more army units. So that's not going to do very much for either player in terms of that. I'd expect both players to be upgrading a little bit harder at this stage, just seeing as they both have so much money building up. I think that's the thing, and both players could maybe work on a little bit. Other than that, pretty good stuff coming down for both players. Do have those and going for vehicle plating. That's odd. Why would you get 1 armor for your siege tanks so you could get 2 attack? You have 2 attack for QXC, 1 armor, 1 attack for ThorZaIN. I prefer QXC's movement into the 2 attack, just because siege tanks, it's more important they do damage than be attack. They're not supposed to tank damage regardless, no matter what they're doing. What's over here? Missile turret wall being put up. That's a bit odd. Gonna just deny any drop play from QXC. I guess when you have so much money, you may as well spend it on something. Why not a bunch of missile turrets? Why not? Anyway, so ThorZaIN moving out here. Nice, gonna have nice positioning here. He's gonna be able to spot the high ground with his siege tanks here, and it looks like, ooh, 2 siege tanks. Oh my god, this drop was huge, and it's being taken out before it does anything. And QXC doesn't even realize he just lost so many units inside those medevacs. All 3 going down. That's 2 siege tanks and 16 Marines. Although QXC moving into so many siege tanks, he should be able to clean this up very nicely. And it looks like ThorZaIN's tanks will go down at the price of QXC's Marines. So, pretty even engagement just there. Pretty close battle, really. But we do have ThorZaIN actually coming up where, I'm not saying even, the medevac's going down was huge. And it looks like ThorZaIN is actually inside the base of QXC too. So, we also have Marines moving out here. We might actually kill up this command center before it lands. That's going to be huge. ThorZaIN suddenly on a roll, killing so much stuff. Killing production facilities, killing a few barracks, killing a factory. And only 1 more factory for the siege tanks of QXC. He is in a nice position now. That siege tank is going to clean up this attack finally. But meanwhile, QXC just having to pull over here, trying to clean up this attack. And QXC just being pushed so far back by the sudden aggressiveness of ThorZaIN. So, still a close match with ThorZaIN just being slightly ahead because suddenly just able to do so much damage so quickly. Oh no, running into a siege tank. QXC didn't realize that the Vikings were so protected, and that's going to cost him a little bit. So anyway, we do happen to have ThorZaIN and now going to lose the siege tank to the siege tank of QXC. Again, the 2 attack being so much better than the 1 attack, 1 arm. Okay, so what do we have now? We happen to have a unit counting station, because that's what's most important at this stage, which shows siege tanks being even, and Marines heavily favouring ThorZaIN. Although it looks like siege tanks are actually going down now for QXC. Oh, out of position here. This is why you need Marines with your army, because otherwise you just lose so much stuff. Going to lose a few siege tanks here, ThorZaIN is, and other than that, QXC just bleeding units really at this stage, getting further and further behind, although 50 food isn't too much to come back from, but you're going to need a really strong defensive position to be able to hold on in this game. So, ThorZaIN looking to go for the back door of QXC. There is a bunker in position, so Marines will not be enough. You'll need a siege tank to come up to clear that out. Other than that, so close, man. QXC gonna lose actually a siege tank there. Siege tank here, siege tank there. Both players trying to chip away at each other. Since both players know they can't just charge a siege line and win, a huge siege tank advantage for ThorZaIN is going to put him very, very comfortably in the lead. Okay, so in terms of upgrades, you do have 3 attack and now 3-3 Marines. Well, 3 attack, 3-3 Marines for both players, 2-1 versus 0-3 in terms of the siege tank upgrades, and I really think that QXC is a little bit of a smarter distribution of his upgrades, although look, trying to land over here, gonna actually lose command center, I think, to these Marines, so that one Scouting Marine won't actually notice these units, and really didn't need to do that, probably should have checked it out. ThorZaIN is going to jump on it, take the command center out very easily. Meanwhile, ThorZaIN expanding. ThorZaIN has so much of a macro advantage at this stage. I think QXC is just going to need a really big 200 army to do tons of damage to ThorZaIN if he wants to win this game. Again, a bunker here I think should be able to clean up everything for QXC. Going to just hold him comfortably there, but he's not really comfortable at all. Look at these sensor towers. ThorZaIN sensor towers cover the whole map. No drop play is now viable for QXC without being spotted. And look, he's trying to drop, but he can't. It's going to be spotted, and there are missile turrets here to take it out. So he's going to just run into missile turrets and die, basically. And look, is it going to go down that medevac? No, it's not. So lucky a bit there. Although Planetary Fortress is not going to be able to do too much here. Planetary Fortress should be able to kill every single Marine. So I don't know what QXC was hoping to achieve right there. But yeah, just not really too much happening for him. Drop has now moved in. It will actually take out these defenses before they build, but does it matter? I don't think it does. ThorZaIN doesn't really need any more defenses than what he has, and he should pull out here. I don't know why he isn't going to cut out some of the sensor towers and missile towers. That's always good, but against his Marines, no point really. So what do we have now? We have 13 tanks to 15 tanks, 64 Marines, 36 Marines. And QXC, he does have 2 siege tank advantage. He does have upgrades are pretty even now, seeing that it's so late into the game. Both players just have brilliant upgrades, so it's pretty even in terms of the army size, except just so many more Marines for ThorZaIN. Lots of Marines are on the way for QXC, seeing as ThorZaIN. Actually, both players supply kit, so it's actually really even now. The difference being halves is even, dead even, 79-79. So every single difference in the units in the counting station, that will just be army units. That's all that's left to just tell between these two players to differentiate between them. And meanwhile, we do have a big attack over here. ThorZaIN actually having 3 siege tanks. Might actually take out the orbital here. No Planetary Fortress. And it looks like units being pulled off the line to deal with this attack. Is it so bad that QXC is losing all those units? Look at how much money he has. He doesn't need to have those SCVs, and he's behind SCVs, but so what? That means he gets 8 more army units. Meanwhile, a big drop by QXC. You don't want to lose your siege tanks though, and that's exactly what just happened there. So ThorZaIN on top of his micro there. Could take out the siege tank too, it looks like, seeing as it's could just be dropped on top of the siege tank right now. So he's not going to be dropped on top. The siege tank going to do a little bit better than it should have been doing, but a nice marine spread there is going to make more siege tanks not very viable. And SCV is moving out and killing a bunch of siege tanks. That was pretty weird. QXC seems to have decided that he can use his units as attacking units, his SCVs as attacking units. And other than that, we do have the base being taken out of QXC, so his income is hovering close to 0 at the moment, losing his main too. I think QXC is actually in way too much trouble. His army actually just being pulled apart too, so I don't know what happened to ThorZaIN's army entirely, just losing so many siege tanks just because they're just being dropped on top of. His attack did fail over here. Just so much to try and keep track of, and of course ThorZaIN going to win the game. So why is ThorZaIN able to win so easily at the end when it seemed so close until the last minute? Well, as in, it didn't seem like close, the army seemed close, the game itself didn't seem close. So it was 1, 2, 3 mining bases minimal at all time, 4 bases of gas. Huge macro advantage, able to keep at 200 the whole game. Upgrades, even. Positioning, I don't know, QXC just never really defended this base properly. If he just bunkered up this area, to put some siege tanks out in this little choke here, he would have done so much better. That would have left his main open. And you can see ThorZaIN wanted to exploit the back door, did a nice drop in here, killed all the production facilities of QXC. So while QXC was never that bad in terms of his army, he had always had lots of money, always had lots of stuff. He just never had that map control that he wanted. He was never able to move around and do what he wanted to do. So I think that's why QXC was just losing, just because he couldn't break the... Because what we'd have was ThorZaIN would just lock down points of the map, he'd drops all over the place, and really, how do you break that? When you've got... Once the synth towers were in place, the reactions were just too good for ThorZaIN. The drops couldn't work for QXC anymore, his aggression couldn't work so well, because if he just tried to rally into his opponent's base, they'd just die, the siege tanks. So QXC was just forced to play in a position that he was really uncomfortable at playing in. Other than that, fairly even game throughout. So I hope you enjoyed that match. I thought it was pretty cool. TBT, why not? And anyway, I'll hope you all, just subscribe to my channel and just watch more and enjoy it. So anyway, thank you for watching, and that's all. That's it. Thank you.